Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Flavor and Fiction. For those of you tuning in for the first time, Flavor and Fiction is a segment where I give you a review of a book from my 2023 reading challenge, and then I make a recipe using a food mentioned in the book. So you get your flavor and your fiction. So this time the category was a book written from a child's perspective, and I chose The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. It was the title that really pulled me in there. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the review, of course, but then I'm going to make the recipe with our special ingredient, which is carrots. That was mentioned in the book. And I'm choosing to make honey-glazed carrot muffins. So at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how I made the recipe, and I'm going to do a little taste test on camera. But first, we're going to talk about this book. The story takes place from the viewpoint of 15-year-old Christopher, who happens to have autism. And one day he sees his neighbor's dog. He's in her yard, and he discovers, this is late one night, discovers the dog murdered. Not just dead, but murdered, because there is a huge pitchfork sticking out of the dog. Sorry, I didn't have a warning on that. But so it's pretty gruesome, and he's trying to figure out what's happening. He's leaning over the dog. And of course, that's when the neighbor comes out and starts screaming, and the cops are called. And then the cop tries to reach down and touch him, and he does not like to be touched. So just as a reflex, he ends up, trying to get the cop off of him. He hits the cop. Well, now he's in jail. And his father, whom he lives with, it's just the two of them, he comes to get him, and he tells his dad, what he saw, and that he wants to start an investigation to find out what happened to this dog. Like, he just can't let it go. And the dad is just like, I don't want you getting involved. Don't get mixed up in anything. Just promise me you're going to stop this. Well, he doesn't. And that's not a spoiler alert. So he continues the investigation, and he ends up finding out a lot of information he wasn't quite ready for. About life, about his family, and he's writing as we're going along. He's writing in his journal at school, and the teacher is reading his journal, and she's getting more concerned about the stuff that he's writing. One day, his father finds the journal, and he is furious that Christopher did not give up this investigation like he thought he did, like he told him to. So he ends up hiding the journal, and he gets into a huge physical altercation with his son. And in the aftermath of that, when he's apologizing, he decides, you know what, things have gone far enough. It's time for me to sit down and really tell Christopher the truth about some things. Because like I said, it's just the two of them. They mention early in the book that the mother has passed away from a heart attack. Christopher has a lot of questions surrounding it. He just doesn't feel settled, and he's searching for all of these answers. And in the meantime, just as a side note, he's also preparing for this huge math test that the school didn't even want to let him take because he has autism, and they kind of were just that's not for him. But his father fought for the right for his son to be able to take this test, so he doesn't want him to blow this opportunity. So in the midst of all this, Christopher kind of leaves home at one point to go in search of answers. And I can't give you more details because then that would be spoilers, and I don't do spoilers. But the thing about this book, what makes it so special, is that because it's from Christopher's viewpoint, we get to discover with him. So even if we, in our reader's eye, can see something coming, the fact that we get to walk through it step by step with Christopher, and we get to see what he understands and what he doesn't understand and how he puts puzzles together, that's the true magic of this book. So I really enjoyed it, and it's a very quick read. It was enjoyable. It may deal with one or two heavy subjects. Of course, we already know about the dog being murdered. But the book is 2 thumbs up. I recommend it, and I think that this was Mark Haddon's first book. I know he has others, maybe 4 or 5 others. I'm going to add them to my reading list because I like the way he approaches storytelling. So that's the review. That's my personal opinion about the book, and I am going to try this carrot muffin now. But first, I'm going to show you how I made it. Okay, you want to start out with 2 cups of flour, a cup of sugar. You're going to mix your dry ingredients first. Some cinnamon, a little bit of salt, and baking powder. And then give that a stir just until it's combined. And then we're going to start adding our wet ingredients. We're going to start with some vanilla extract, some milk, a melted stick of butter, 2 eggs, and then we're going to mix it up until we get this consistency here. And then you're going to spoon that into your cupcake tin, your muffin tin. Make sure it's lined or greased, and then put it in for 22 minutes, and it comes out looking like this. You're going to put it on a rack to cool, and then once it's cooled down for a few minutes, you're going to put your glaze on top, and there you go. Okay, so now you see it was a quick and easy recipe. I did not film the portion where I made the topping, the glaze. I can't believe I forgot to do that, but all it is butter, honey, and some orange zest. That's it. You just melt it all together and whisk it, and then you take the muffin and once it's cooled, and you dip it in there. So you can see that I just put a little glaze on this one. There's a little glaze. The muffin has been cooled. We're going to try this thing together and hope that it comes out better than the last recipe I made on here. As if you remember the beer bread, it didn't go too well. So, uh-oh. I'm nervous because this is already sticking to the paper. Oh, Lord. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Crisis averted. Sorry, I had to finish chewing. The cinnamon really brings out all the flavors in this. I can taste the orange zest on top, and it's not overpowering. It's just sweet enough without being too much. This is really good. I've never made carrot muffins, carrot anything before. I'm not a huge fan of carrot cake, but maybe I am. Maybe I am after this. I don't know how much you can see a little of the carrot flakes in there. But this is really good. I'm taking the rest to work now. Maybe I'm rethinking that, but I hope my coworkers like it as much as I do, but definitely better than the beer bread. That I can say. So I'm going to go finish my muffin and rush off to work because I'm a little late. And if you want the recipe or if you want the book, I'm going to put a link to both in the description below. And that's it for this segment of Flavor and Fiction. Happy reading, happy eating.